민나 konnichiwa. 여러분 안녕. This is Léo for Asia on Air, the podcast, the best fucking podcast ever. You deal with it.
And this is the first episode of the podcast with a very French accent. Well, first of all, let me explain you what is the podcast. The podcast is the podcast where we're gonna talk about K-pop and J-pop and music in general, but mainly K-pop and J-pop still. There's gonna be some chats, some bad jokes, and a lot of TMI, too much information. We're gonna talk about our lives. I'm gonna have some guests later. You will see, you will be surprised. And for the first episode, I just want to stay alone and talk about myself. Just to introduce myself to you, because it's the first time that you hear me, you don't know me, and I have to be polite. So, today, you saw it in the title, it's called From Bach to J.S Bach. From J.S Bach to J.Y. Bach. What does it mean? It sounds a bit mysterious like this, right? But what I mean is, there is no border in music. And you will understand why. Yeah, today I'm gonna talk about my musical journey. Where did I start? Where I am now? Where I would like to go? As someone who loves listening music daily, and as a musician and composer, an apprentice composer, I would say. Anyway, let's go back to my childhood. When I was 6 years old, if I remember well, my sister got a piano, and as every child, I was just playing around with it, and I was really amazed by how simple it is to create just with a keyboard. I mean, you just have to push one note, and you create a sound, you create a note, and then you just push other notes, and you create a music. I mean, piano is so simple when you think about it. You just have to push, music is done. When I think about it, I think it's way easier than guitar, because guitar, you have to do multiple gestures. You have to think, to play guitar. But piano is very direct. You just push, it makes music. So I loved it. I loved how accessible it was. I remember I had some harmonium, I think 1 year later when I was 7 years old for my birthday. The harmonium is some kind of keyboard in which you blow inside. So it's like a wind instrument coupled with piano. And it's a kind of instrument where when you take care of it, when you clean it, that's just disgusting, because there is so much saliva inside, liters of saliva. It's just disgusting. So when I was, I think, still 7 years old, I started getting some lessons, piano lessons, in a school, private school first. And after that, I was lucky enough to join a special class when I was in primary school. And the thing is, we had some schedule, a weekly schedule, where we could go to school and in the afternoon go to the music class, which was awesome. I mean, not every school does that. So basically it was a conservatory, but linked to the school. You know what I mean? Do you follow me? Yeah. So in French we call that cham, C-H-A-M, which means I forgot what it means, but I just know that it means some kind of arranged class for music at school, something like that. Anyway, long story short, I have a very good memory of one of the music pieces that I was playing on the piano when I was a child, and it was the Prelude #1, so the first Prelude by J.S Bach, which is very simple to play. It's very easy, and it teaches you the importance of the harmony of the chords, because it's just arpeggium. How to say in English? Wait, let me check it out. How to say it in English? Arpeggio. So it's just arpeggio. So it's one chord which is divided in different notes, and it sounds amazing. It's simple to play and sounds amazing. One of the first music piece that I was playing, I think it was around 98. Yes, I'm born in 92, so that's pretty long time ago already. Time flies fast. You know what, let's listen to it right now. I don't know if I can upload it on YouTube. Anyway, if you hear this, that means it's okay. Otherwise, it means you are on my website or on Spotify or wherever. Let's listen to it. And that was the Prelude #1 by J.S. Bach. So, do you agree with me? Simple and beautiful, isn't it? So, this is where everything started for me. And I was also lucky enough during my childhood to have parents who were music obsessed. I mean, they were always listening to music, and they had some vinyl, which is amazing because it has a special sound, right? And they were listening to mostly black music, so like jazz, a lot of jazz, some soul, some funk music. etc., etc. But also every genre of music: Indian music, hard rock, samba, classical, even. Basically, what I remember, a lot of Stevie Wonder, like Charlie Mingus, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, J.J. Johnson, Herbie Hancock, even Glenn Gould playing Bach, and many stuff. I cannot remember everything, but it was very eclectic. So I think it fed my subconscious a lot, and that helps. So I really recommend anyone who have a child or children, don't listen to your music just in your headphones or earphones. Like, play it loud and allow your children to be fed by your music as well, because it's gonna help them when they grow older. So I was learning music at school. I was learning music theory, and my instruments were not only the piano but the drum and the percussions. So again, I'm a very simple guy. I like simple stuff, so I chose the drum and the percussions because it's very straightforward. You just hit something, it makes a sound, it makes the music. You don't have to think. It's very direct, and I like that. I need that. Like, I don't have time to take too long ways between your body and the sound. It has to be direct. This is what I like. And in percussions, there were so many different instruments. Like, you have the marimba, the vibraphone, the xylophone, the timpani, many stuff. So a lot of techniques to learn, and that takes time. But this is also what is interesting. A lot of technical deepness. So a lot of, like, a very high learning curve, which is interesting. And in this kind of schools, it teaches you about daily work, about strict schedule, and patience, perseverance. I think it's very good for a child to go to the conservatory. So all of this was around 1999, if I don't make any mistake. It started in 98, 99. Until my teenage, and we are around 2006, and I'm a rebel. I need rock, hard rock, and that's why I'm listening to Nirvana, grunge music, very dirty, it smells like Teen Spirit, you know what I mean. Jimi Hendrix, so psychedelic from the 60s, 70s, on drug, burning your guitar. But I was a big fan of Jimi Hendrix, really. What he did in Woodstock, everything, like, oh my god, I mean, this guy. But the number one band I was listening to was Led Zeppelin, the British Led Zeppelin. Oh my god, I was listening to it like all the time. And the album I was listening to the most is a live album, a very long one, which is like 3 hours something, How the West Was Won. And I can tell you that my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, today they still remember how this album sounded, because I was listening to it like every day, like thousands, tens of thousands time, and it was so loud. I had a very good hi-fi, and I was putting it so loud every time. The same album, How the West Was Won. You know what? I want to listen to it right now. Like, this piece was a masterpiece, and I was listening to it the most.
7 to 11 every night. Let me tell you, it really makes life a drag. I don't think that's right. I'm feeling the best of fools. Oh, have mercy, I did what I could, yeah. Oh, I love you, mama. How I love you, baby. Oh, I love you. Oh, little girl. Baby, since I've been loving you, I'm about to lose my worried mind. Didn't mean me no good. I said I tried. Oh, ow, ow! I really tried to do the best I could. I've been working from 7 to 11 every night. It really makes it a drag. I don't think that's right. Baby, I'm about to lose my worried mind. Only for 5 minutes. Oh, my tears, they fell like rain. Oh, somebody hear the calling. Remember, mama, when I knocked upon
I gotta tell you, even though I don't listen to Led Zeppelin anymore, I'm still in trance when I listen to it right now. Like, if I don't listen to it anymore, it doesn't mean that I don't like it anymore. It just means that I moved forward, and my taste has changed, but I still love what I was listening to before, for sure. I was listening to many stuff, Radiohead, which would be a bit harder to listen to right now because it's a bit depressive, It doesn't help you to be happy. Muse, Coldplay, Stevie Wonder, Rage Against the Machine, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Incubus, Jamiroquai, like many stuff. I have a list actually. I have a list right here, and I want this podcast to be not too long, so let's move on. When I was still a teenager, I joined a band, and we did something which was close to Nirvana, so it was a grunge band. I was a drummer in it. The band was called Oxide, so Oxyde. It's not that I want you to find it on the internet because I'm a bit ashamed of it. Well, the composition was very interesting. The guitarist and singer was the composer. I think he made some very interesting stuff, but I'm a bit ashamed of the video quality and sound quality if you find it on internet. And I mean, I'm just a bit ashamed of the form, the video, the sound. And anyway, don't look for it, please. So what is important in this era is that when you're a teenager, most of the time when it comes to music, you move from the status of hearing music to listening to music. By that I mean that you start to choose what you listen to. And when you choose what you listen to, this is how you get passionate about it. And this is how you build your passion for it. Honestly, I almost didn't listen to any actual music. Most of the music I was listening to were music of dead people. Music from the 80s, from the 60s. Well, actually even the 90s. Kurt Cobain was dead. Amy Winehouse. Like all the music I was listening to was old music. I was not really fitting in my era, I would say. So as you can notice, like a lot of rock, hard rock, grunge, not to the point to listen to metal, but still, I was a rebel, and I was a bit enough of the conservatory. So it was like 10 years I started the conservatory, and I was enough. I wanted to move forward. I was enough of the mechanical and very academic way of learning music. I wanted more freedom and more adventure, more, I would say, randomness in the way I was approaching music. So I actually quit the conservatory right before getting an interesting diploma. Anyway, when you're young, you don't think so much about the future. You're just like in YOLO mode every time. And I started composing on my piano some interesting stuff, which was, I would say, contemporary, experimental even. It was mainly rhythmical stuff. So I really liked to compose very complex rhythms, and I wanted some freshness. I wanted to create something that has never been done before. Honestly, that was very complex, and I don't even know if I would be capable of play it again today. Anyway, this is during this period that I reached my technical my technical limit, I would say. I think the most complex piece I could play was the Fantasie Impromptu by Chopin, which is very difficult for me, at least. I wouldn't say that I was playing it well, but I was playing it how I could. And since then, I never played something as difficult as that. Technically, I mean, yeah. So what I'm talking about was in 2009, 2010. From that moment, I started being independent because I was 18 years old. So being independent when you are 18 years old also means that you become poor and that you don't have money and that you don't have a piano anymore and you don't have a drum anymore. So that means you cannot play music anymore. And that means that from that moment I just stopped playing the music for a very, very long time. Forever, almost. Like almost 10 years. But I don't feel bad about it. Because from that moment, it's the point where I switched from being a musician to being a listener. Like I was listening to music in order to fill that blank that I left from the lack of instrument, you know. So I started to feed myself by listening to music more and more, and this is, I think, very important, to feed yourself with music to bring inspiration to your spirit. Oh my god, I think this podcast is too serious. I mean, I need to make some jokes now. Wouldn't it be better if I make some jokes? But I don't know any jokes in English. Maybe I should learn some. Maybe I should. I think I just need some guests to talk with. I mean, when you're alone, how can you be funny? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. 2011. What happened is, I talk about it in my retrospective of Perfume. If you guys saw it, if you didn't, please go see it. In 2011, I was watching the French TV channel called No Life, which is a channel which was broadcasting about video games, like nerd stuff, and which was broadcasting the J-Top, which was J-Pop top. J-Top, easy. And this is how I discovered Perfume, especially the music video Spice, and I just fell in love with it. And from that moment, like, you know, the atmosphere of the music video, the performance of the girls, and like everything was so fresh and new, something that I'd never heard before, something from another continent, something from another country, in another language. Like, imagine discovering a music which you don't know the language, you don't know the codes, like everything is new. And I was amazed by it, and it's like discovering a new world, a new galaxy. So of course, this is how I started listening to J-pop. Yeah, J-pop. And I started listening to J-pop for 3 years in a row, like Kyari, Pamyu Pamyu, and Baby Metal, Death, and what else? A bit of Yasuta Kanakata with Capsule, and a bit of city pop and 80s pop, like Akina Nakamori and Tatsuro Yamashita and Maria Takeuchi, of course, with her So good. Plastic Love, of course. Well, in other words, a whole world was opening to me. But in 2014, what happened is another whole world opened to me. And you know which world was it? It was a K-pop world, of course. And what happened is I was randomly listening to a nightcore compilation. So nightcore, if you don't know, it's well, it kind of sucks a bit. It's just like a music, most of the time a J-pop song, which is a bit accelerated, and the voice, most of the time it's a girl's voice, which is high-pitched, and it sounds like, Hatsune Miku, Project Diva. It sounds very otaku style, and I'm an otaku, so that's why I was listening to this randomly. And in this compilation, I heard Girls' Generation's G in a nightcore mode, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? You know what? Let's listen to this.
Listen, boy. It's my first love story. My angel and my girls, my sunshine. 너무너무 멋져 눈이 부셔 숨을 못 쉬겠어 떨리는 걸. 너무 부끄러워 쳐다볼 수 없어 사랑에 빠졌어 수줍은 걸.
I was amazed. I was just amazed. Something happened. I was like, hey, there's something special in this music, but I cannot put the finger on it. And actually today, I still cannot put the finger on it. What is so special in this music, in this song? Like, why did I just... Like, the compilation was like 3 hours of many songs. But this song, I was just like, hey, wait, there's something going on in here. What is it? I still don't know. It's maybe the bass synth, like whoop, whoop, which is very ear-catching, while the harmony is very interesting. And the melody, like it sticks in your head, So this is how I got into Girls' Generation, and then in K-pop in general. Actually, I already had heard about K-pop, but I don't know, I was just not curious to dig into it. I just thought like, okay, this is something commercial, this is something a bit vulgar, and they try to copy American pop. Okay, they have a lot of money, so they make crazy music videos, but once you get into it and you start finding some interesting songs, interesting artists, you understand that there is something going on in this field and in this industry. Like, many stuff are happening now, and I believe that the music industry in our planet is led by Korea today. And this is why I'm doing this podcast and this channel and everything. And really, guys, if you are not yet into K-pop, you should at least take a look at it, and you will understand. We are talking about 2014, which means I was late because many stuff happened in K-pop before I arrived. And I had a lot of lateness to erase. So this is how I started listening to many groups in the same time, and I was like eating songs like 2NE1, Tiara, EXO, FX, 4 Minutes, etc. You know what? It lasted 5 years. During 5 years, I was just listening to K-pop, and this was probably one of my main extra work activity, if it's not the main or the only one. And like my iPod, oh my god, I don't want to do an advert for iPod. So my MP3, let's say, was full of K-pop. Even Korean people that I was meeting were like, what the fuck is this? Even I don't listen to all of this. But you know what? Let's go back to the subject. Why am I talking about Bach and J.Y. Bach, Jinyon Bach? From J.S. Bach to J.Y. Bach. What do I mean by this? I'm gonna get to it. Just be patient, guys. Be patient. So in 2019, I saw something. I saw a conference of J.Y. Bach. I don't remember the title of the conference. I think it's something about his enterprise. So he is JYP Entertainment Enterprise, and he's talking about his goals for 2020. I think something like that. And this is a conference in which he was introducing the Niji project. If you guys see which one is it, and he was talking about like his philosophy for all his artists and how he wanted to take care of them and how he wanted to do like organic food and everything. Like he was talking about sanity and mental health well, everything that makes JYP amazing as an enterprise. And when I saw this guy, actually I think I just barely knew him before that. I just listened to a few of his songs before, but I was not so much into him. And when I saw this conference, I was like, wow, I mean, this guy is CEO of one of the 3 biggest company of K-pop, which is the biggest industry with the American one of music. So he's the CEO of this company, and this guy speaks 3 languages fluently. I mean, he speaks Korean, English, and Japanese. I was amazed by his Japanese. Oh, this was, by the way, in English and in Japanese, this conference. I don't know why, by the way, anyway. And I was amazed by his prosody, how he was expressing himself, how he was talking, how he was occupying the scene, and that was crazy. And oh my god, I was like, hey, I want to become him. And this guy is also an artist. I mean, he's a singer, he's a dancer, probably one of the best dancers ever. I was like, come on, man, this guy is so complete. I want to be like him. I want to be him. And I started listening to what he does, and hey, what he's doing is very interesting, because JYP is doing pop music, even disco music. Even though he's totally mainstream, I mean, you cannot do any more mainstream than what he does. He puts a lot of deepness in his music, in the harmony, in the chords he uses, because obviously he knows a lot about music theory, which I believe he learned in the US. And his philosophy is very interesting, because what he does is he takes pop and he makes it complex and simple in the same time, which means that when you are a musician, you find a lot of things to eat in his music. But when you are not a musician, you just get into it and you love it. So he's talking to everybody, and that's why I think he's working so much. What one kind of a genius, I would say. Honestly, when you watch one of his live performance, like I saw his last performance with Sunmi. It's like a 80s compilation. So there is a Bonam Pipat, cannot say it, Purple Color, Sunmi's song. There is When We Disco and Honey, so some 80s songs. This is crazy how present he is. He's so much into it. His dance is on point, his singing is crazily on point. Like, I never heard any, I don't want to say old, but I never heard any grown up guy singing so well, except like Stevie Wonder. I mean, it's so on point. He's singing perfectly while dancing, and his presence is like one kind of a thing. By the way, guys, I really recommend you to watch his once again, I don't have the title in mind, but you can find it easily on YouTube, on his official YouTube channel. He made a concert where he performed, I think, I don't want to say 100, but I think it's 100. That's crazy. No, 100? Was it 100? No, 50, maybe 50, which is still just not possible. I mean, I think it's 50. Well, he performs 50 or 100 songs that made the top one in the charts. Songs composed by himself, and he's performing it live at his age, which is I think 48. I mean, I want to be him. It's already too late. I cannot be him. Anyway, you should watch this and watch his performance of Feel Special for Twice. He's playing it on the piano and singing it. That's just amazing. And you can see the complexity of his chords, the complexity of the chords he composed. That's something. And when you hear the Twice version, you hear a pop song, and you don't notice on the first listening how complex it is. But actually, if it brings you so far in terms of emotion, it comes actually from this complexity, from this harmony. This is the talent, the genius of J.S Bach. Oh, you know what? Hey, that's a podcast. We can listen to music, and that's crazy. And I'm on my website, and I have all the freedom. So you know what? Let's listen to it right now. Feel Special by J.S Bach.
You make me feel special. 세상이 아무리 날 주저앉혀도 아프고 아픈 말들이 날 찔러도 네가 있어 난 다시 웃어. That's what you do. Again I feel special. 아무것도 아닌 존재 같다가도 사라져도 모를 사랑 같다가도 날 부르는 네 목소리에 I feel love, I feel so special. 그런 날이 있어. 갑자기 혼자인 것만 같은 날, 어딜 가도 내 자리가 아닌 것만 같고 고개 떨궈지는 날, 그럴 때마다 내게 얼마나 내가 소중한지 말해주는 너의 그 한마디에 Everything's alright. 초라한 nobody 에서 다시 somebody, 특별한 나로 변해. You make me feel special. 세상이 아무리 날 주저앉혀도 아프고 아픈 말들이 날 찔러도 네가 있어 난 다시 웃어. That's what you do. Again I feel special. 아무것도 아닌 존재 같다가도 사라져도 모를 사랑 같다가도 날 부르는 네 목소리에 I feel love, I feel so special. So special.
So, what do you think about it? What about you tell me? I can also talk about my album. So I made an album all in Japanese, which is called Space Highway. It's really inspired by city pop and Japanese 80s pop, but not only. There's some samba influence, some synthwave influence, even some funk influence, even some Daft Punk influence. So it's very eclectic, I would say. You can listen to some preview on my website, which is www.leodargery, leodargery.com. Go on listen, the listened category, and you can check it out. You can buy the digital version. And that would help me a lot to make more projects in the future. Let's go back to my life. So in 2020, what happened is just by hanging around on YouTube, I discovered Form of Therapy, which is a YouTube channel held by PD, which looks really fancy and has a more silky voice than mine, so I'm very jealous. And I fell in love with his channel. I mean, the atmosphere and what he's doing, all his content, his tone. I found it very interesting. And I wanted to do not the same, but my version of what he's doing. So honestly, I'll be honest, I'm inspired by what he does by maybe 75, let's say 75%. Well, basically what we are doing right now, because now I'm kind of joining him in the game, what we are doing is we are making our part in giving life to music, because music exists, musicians make music, artists make songs, people listen to songs, but if that stops here, there is something missing, right? What is missing is people need to talk about songs, right? I mean, it's good to talk about the songs on a forum and whatever, but if you make a video about it, and if you make podcasts about it, if you discuss about it in public, and if you make content about it, you are actually giving even more life to the music. So we're actually taking part of the party. I think it participates to the creation process, and it even help, probably, I hope it helps the artist for their coming compositions, to hear about what we think about it. I mean, everyone, you too. I want to hear your voice, guys, and they want to hear your voice. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what we like, what we dislike, while staying respectful, right? Because composing is not easy, it takes time, and even if there is something that we don't like, we should always stay respectful and polite, because work takes time, energy, and that's not very nice to say it's shit to anyone. You know what I mean? 2020, right? COVID happened, and that sucked for everybody, for me as well, because I'm a bartender and I couldn't work anymore. So what I did is I took this chance to go back to what I didn't do since 10 years, which is playing music and composing. What I did is I bought a Roland FA06, which is a synthesizer. It's a workstation, actually. It's a workstation, so You can compose on it directly. You can make sounds like a synthesizer, but you can also compose. You can like make loops and save a lot of stuff. This is what I bought, and I was like, let's go, let's do it, let's make a fucking album, mate. And this is what I did. The album I was talking about before, Space Highway, just came out. It came out, and now it's a part of my business. The whole thing, RSMC, Asia on Air, Space Highway. I'm making this whole thing. I'm into music. I mean, I'm now in the music industry, so I'm kind of making my dreams come true. My childhood's dream. That's crazy. I mean, well, I'm just starting, so I just hope it's gonna work, but I can say I'm a part of the music industry now. No. I just hope it's gonna work, but let's see what happens. My goal, I want to become JYP. No, I mean, what I want to do is keep on improving in many fields, focusing on transmitting my passion for music, my passion for the artists that I like the most, and that's why I do my retrospectives. Yeah, I think music is all about transmission and communication. You communicate emotions, feelings, moments, memories, and you pass it on to the people. And one thing which is very important to me is that music has no time. You can make a music and people can still appreciate it even 2,000 years later. Music has no time. This is also why on every Wednesday, my MV review, I do reviews on YouTube and not reaction, because there is not only new music coming out, there's also music that already came out before and that we shouldn't forget, because it's still very good quality and we are gonna still appreciate it forever. If you listen to, I don't know, like 21's I Love You right now, that's crazy good. I mean, why should we stop listening to it just because the new Blackpink song came out? You know what I mean? I have nothing I have nothing against Blackpink. I love Blackpink, okay? So I'm not talking about this. I just want to say that we should listen to the songs that we used to listen before again and again. Music has no time, and it's all about understanding your era, understanding your time, and this is what JYP is doing, because he is actually doing 80s songs and he makes it the new trend. You know what I mean? I really would like to meet JYP to know how he thinks, but I feel that he's a very smart guy and that he maybe doesn't like so much most of the mainstream stuff that comes out. But he knows he has the power to put his finger into it and to move the line a bit and to make stuff a bit more deep than what it should be. One thing important is that he is still a businessman, He knows what works, what doesn't work, and he just adapts to his time. This is in the end, the point I wanted to focus on for this podcast. So when I say from J.S Bach to JYP, I mean, guys, please make interesting music, deep music, complex music, but adapt to your time. And adapt to your time doesn't mean that you are doing shit. It just means that by taking the modern codes, you actually can make something even greater. I mean, when you hear Twice's Feel Special, what can you do better than this? Why would Twice's Feel Special would be a less great piece of art than the first Prelude by J.S Bach? Why? I think it's as good. It's as good. It's just a different time. I would be very interested to know in like 100 years what people think about this song. Music can make us time travel sometimes. I think I'm gonna close this podcast on this feel special thoughts, and thank you guys for listening to me. Sleep well, and I see you in the next podcast. I don't know when, because for the podcast I don't have any schedule, but I will be with someone else. I will have a guest, and we'll see how it goes. See you soon. 안녕. 아바요.